We have breaking news. Manscaped now sells beard products. That's right. They are once again revolutionizing men's grooming with the brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. From a beard trim to a fresh shave, the technology behind the Beard Hedger Pro Kit allows you to shape your signature beard look. Now you can finally use Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com and using the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY for 20% off and free shipping. It's time to tame your mane. No one likes a weird beard, so say goodbye to all your stubble and trouble with Manscaped Pro Beard Kit. It all starts with the Beard Hedger. This thing is a juggernaut of fixing faces. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard, so no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. That's right, face grooming doesn't need to be hard. Get 20 different beard lengths in just one guard. Plus, it's waterproof, so you can shave in the shower to avoid all that hair in the sink. The titanium-coated T-blade is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. So make sure you get 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com by using the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. Once again, that's 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY at manscaped.com. The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
All right, what is up, fight fans? We are back for another episode of Combat Deviants. I'm your host, as always, Stephen Rochelle. And to the right of me, the man that literally needs no introduction anymore, Mr. Joshua Oxendine, fresh off another sub 50-second beating last weekend.
Yes,
another
sir.
knockout of the night performance for BYB Extreme 15 down there for Broward Brawl. How fun was that event, my friend?
Oh man, it was pretty dope, man. BYB, they know how to put on a show, man. They know how to put on a show. So it was a blessing to go down there and do what we did. It was good. I had a good time.
That's all that matters at the end of the day, right? You know, you're able to have a good time. You got another quick stoppage. Get in, get out. No damage. You're so obviously we already talked before the last fight. Now you got two of them under your belt and another quick knockout. So are you looking, hopefully another one in before summer?
Oh yeah, for sure. Shoot, I wish they'd call me for the Dubai show in March. That'd be nice. I didn't take no damage.
Gonna be selfish and be like, I hope someone gets hurt on the low.
Facts, exactly. Please God, let somebody at 135 or 145 get hurt. I pray all blessings to these guys. But yeah, man, I didn't get hurt at all. I went to the gym Sunday. I got home Saturday night around 11 o'clock from the airport. Got in bed around 12:30, 1, and went back to the gym Sunday morning. So, I ain't missed a beat at all. So, but yeah, man, if not, then we're back in Rock Hill in May. Basically like a home show for me. So, hopefully I'm the main event for that, and hopefully it's for a title.
But I mean, here we are now. It's 2 fights in. I don't even think you've accrued 90 seconds of ring time. What's going on, man? You might have to change that moniker again, or the sport might do it themselves.
Yeah, I like to baptize people, man. I told them people's getting baptized when they get in there. When I hit them with this right hand, people fall, and usually when people fall, they don't get up, and if they do, I tell them to stay down, and they listen. So
trying to make them look like them old ladies, like ah.
Facts, exactly. Nah, man, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love it, man. This is what I love to do. I felt like this is the perfect situation for me. BYB is really giving me the platform to express, who I am, what I'm about, and let me showcase my skills. And I really feel like I'm the best 135er in the world in bare knuckle. And I'm just going to keep knocking people out until I am.
So obviously, you've made your statement now. You go on social media, you're calling for an interview. Obviously, I had to reach out. I'm like, all right, we just had Josh on. He just had another lightning quick knockout. Let's see what's on Josh's mind. So, well, what's up, man? You trying to let the people know? You trying to make your mark? Are you trying to make a run early this year?
Yeah, man, I want that title. I've been saying that from the first time I got with BYB, and I won in December. I want that belt. Like, I like shiny things, you know what I'm saying? So, I want that belt, and it'd be nice to be able to get in Rock Hill in basically my home city. I'm gonna shut that place down. I'm gonna pack it out. I'm gonna sell probably like $25,000 worth of tickets. I'm gonna have probably 500 people there, and we're gonna sell it out, and I'm gonna become a champion. That's what we're gonna do.
Hey, man, that's you got to have that mindset. You have to have that champion mindset. Like it's not like the overly arrogant type of thing. It's just one of those things where you're confident in your skill set. You know who's you obviously know who's under contract and in your division. So it's all a matter now of just time getting the fights in and having the matchmakers just not be able to say no.
Yeah, I told Mel. I told them guys they shouldn't have signed me to a 4-fight contract, man. They should have signed me to an 8-fight contract. So, because I don't mind fighting every month. This is what I love to do, man. If I don't get hurt, win or lose, if I don't get hurt, I'll fight again the next show. So, I just feel like my hands are certified. I keep telling people that, when you're knocking people out with a body shot, then you come up and hit people with hooks and you drop them, and you can have a little confidence in your hands. So I got a lot of confidence in my hands. I feel like I can take a shot too, and get right back up, which I did. So um, I'm down for a war, but I'm not about that war life. Like I told Mike, I don't do fight of the nights. I do knockout of the nights. So
Well, we can see that now. It's 2 in a row, brother.
yeah, we're gonna keep knocking people out, and until they say, I'm the best at what I do, and then I'm gonna put the gloves down and keep spreading the name of Jesus, man. That's the main goal.
Now, obviously, religion's a big part of your life. Not just like in your mentality and fighting, just like like an overall aspect. Correct?
Right. Exactly. My faith is the most important thing in my life. Like it's faith, family, fighting. If my faith is not in line where it needs to be, then my family lacks, and if my family lacks, my fighting lacks. So if I have my faith in line, then my family is going to fall right in line as well. And then, as you can see, I'm taking people out and fighting. So everything's going smooth, and God's number one in my life. And I let everybody know that it's not about religion; it's about relationship. So when God came in my life, my whole life changed. Not just in fighting, but in general in everyday aspects. So yeah, faith is everything, man. I'm gonna continue to spread it all over platforms, all over the world, and even when I'm fighting, when I'm done fighting, I'm gonna continue to spread the name of Jesus. So it's pretty cool.
I mean, if you got a faith in something, I'm not gonna sit there and begrudge anyone. It won't matter if you're obviously man of the a Christian or Catholic faith, or it doesn't matter if we're talking about somebody who preaches whatever it is. If we're talking about someone who's Muslim or whatever the case may be, or whatever religion, nationality that you feel that is necessary. I'll never tell someone they can't. Never.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's just one of those things. I just think it's one of those things that someone believes, man. You just don't try to tear someone down for their belief or make them feel uncomfortable about their beliefs.
No, you never do. You never do. I like I said, I have the platform to be able to tell basically the world, right? Because every fight with BYB's been over 140,000 views on social media. So um, being able to tell that many people being able to hear about, my testimony, where God has brought me from being hurt, from being homeless, living the childhood I did, losing my dad, and then finding my faith and finding God, and completely turning my life around to where I'm at now. It just gives people hope, and that's the main goal, is just to be able to give someone hope, um, and show them that life may not be where it is, where you want it to be right now, but it'll turn around.
Now, you just said you lost your father. When did you lose your father?
So I lost my dad at 14 years old. My dad passed away to lung cancer. Soon right after, my mom was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, a muscle disease, and then we lost everything. I became homeless, lived from friend to friend's house. I had a rough childhood after my dad passed away. He was the glue to our family. So it was a tough time in my life, and then I battled through a lot. I went through a lot. So my dad was my best friend. So like I said, my faith is really came into play. After I lost my dad, I had to lean on my faith. And God never failed me. He said, the Bible says he'll never leave you nor forsake you. And I truly believe that, because in my toughest times, I could always call on God, and he was there. So it was pretty cool.
I guess, is that one of the regrets you hate, that neither one of your parents kind of get to see you take this journey, take this road through combat sports, through bare knuckle boxing?
Not my mom is still alive. She lives in Pembroke. So she's been to a couple of my fights. No bare knuckle. It's too vicious for her. She don't like seeing her baby. I'm the baby, so she don't like seeing the baby get hit.
Yeah, obviously.
But yeah, it's sad that my dad, wasn't able to, see me live out my dream, and see me get married and have kids and stuff like that. So it's pretty tough. But like I said, faith. I was able to lean on, and same thing with my wife. We're really big in church and in our faith. So to be able to have her lean on, and her to lean on me through tough times is a blessing.
So I guess it goes without saying, probably that first world title is going to be for Dad, right?
Yeah, first world title it's gonna mean a lot. It's gonna be very special. It's gonna be very special, no doubt about it. Probably some tears, some laughter, a lot of emotion, different emotion. Probably gonna hit me all at once. But yeah, this is bigger than me.
Now
This
I
is
gotta ask
big.
this one: why is it taboo for world champions? It doesn't mean, I don't care if we're talking about fighting, if we're talking about basketball, hockey, football, whatever. Why is it taboo for world champions to cry? I
All that
don't
hard
get it.
work, man. The
I don't
hard
get it.
work. The hard work people don't see. People don't see.
Especially if
Um,
you just got done competing.
yeah,
Adrenaline dump, period.
Yeah, but people don't see the grind. They don't see the hard work, the sweat, the tears, the blood that you put in when no one's watching. Nobody sees the 5 miles, the 6 mile runs. Nobody sees the 3 hours in the gym. You leaving your family to go train. Nobody sees that. They just see you fighting on a day, and you winning, and they're like, "Oh man, he's good. He can fight, or he can play basketball." But they don't see the work you put in when no one's watching. Champions not made on fight night; they made in the gym when nobody's watching. And I really believe that, and I put in the work, and hopefully soon I'll be able to be called a champion.
I hope you do get it, just because everything you've been through, that journey, losing your dad, having your mom be sick, basically everything just falling apart, and just being tough, and having that mental toughness, that belief in yourself, to just get you to where you are now. Even if you're just kind of in your infancy stages in BK, bare knuckle.
Yeah,
It's always it's a great first two steps if you think about it. I mean,
yeah,
you haven't even been in the promotion for 4 months, and you've already got two knockouts.
yeah. BYB, Mike, Mel, man, Dada, everybody in that promotion, from the top to the camera people to the people who wiped off the blood off the mats. like everybody in that promotion is top tier. Like, them guys know how to treat fighters. They know how to take care of us. They know how to run a show. Um, Man, they just from everything, man, from everything, from the moment that they reach out to you to the moment that you get on the plane to come home, like it's amazing. So I give everything. I will continue to fight as hard as I can for them guys, man, because they really treat you um, like family. They truly are family. So but yeah, man, it's pretty cool. I had a rough childhood. Um I had a really rough childhood, but um, hard times create greatness, and I went through a hard time and a lot of tough times to be where I'm at, and it's worth it.
It's all worth it as long as you put the work in, and you already know where you're gonna be just because of what you've already sacrificed, what you've already gone through, and how hard you work. We're seeing it live on the big stage in the NFL. Look what happened to Jalen Hurts. He was on
Yeah,
the biggest stage, benched, sent to
yeah,
another team,
yeah,
told him he couldn't do this, told him he couldn't do that. They're still not giving him credit. He got
yeah,
what? He got
yeah,
he got 4 votes yesterday for MVP, right?
yeah. Exactly. Like,
And there was a handful of guys that didn't even have him on their ballots.
yeah, Jalen Hurts is another one, man. He's persevered, right? Perseverance is key, especially in my life, and I know he would say the same thing in his. Always not
I
being
mean,
good enough.
not quite the family stuff because I think having that strong, having dad there as your high school football coach, things of
Yeah,
that nature.
but still, right? But still, like
But
not
no,
being good enough.
the big stage failures and things of that nature, having to be tested, having everyone telling you no, you can't, no, you
Yeah,
can't, no, you can't. Well, here he is. He's about to play the Super Bowl in 2 days against
he's gonna
Patrick
win it.
Mahomes.
He's gonna win it in 2 days. So like
Oh, so
it's
you're
just
on my side with this? I
right,
appreciate that.
exactly. It's just a show. It's just a show, right? Never give up, right? Believe in yourself. I bet on myself 100 out of 100 times. No matter who I'm
Yeah,
fighting, no
you look
matter
at
who I'm
a
playing.
lot of those videos you see post and pregame stuff that Jalen talks about. Listen, he's one of those guys like I don't know if he's like Mr. Religion, but he has guys that just have an unflappable belief in him, and it's
Yeah,
like the same thing when you have a teammates in the gym. Like you have this bond, like you
hmm
go to war for that guy.
facts,
It's
exactly.
kind of that same mentality, but just kind of a in a different level because obviously combat sports athletes, there's no teams.
Yeah,
Once you go in there, it's you.
yeah. It's just you, but it takes a village, and I
It
keep
does take
telling
a
people.
village.
I tell people that all the time. It takes a village to be able just to get in there to fight. So when I fight, I'm in there by myself, but I have coaches. I have corners. If my corners help me win the fight Friday, you know what I'm saying? They calmed me down. They was calling out beautiful stuff, and I was just like a puppet, man. I was just listening and doing what they say, and it makes my life a whole lot easier when they see things and
So that's
they
the thing
call it out.
about fighter and coach. The relationship with fighter and coach is almost like pitcher and catcher in baseball. He just needs to be able to throw the signs out, and you need to be able to hit your spots.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is, and I got the best in the game, man. I got the best in the game, and I feel like I'm the best in the game. And when you put one and one together, you always get two. So we're gonna keep rocking it and to the top.
I think you can do it, my friend. I think you can do it. Now you're sitting there saying you already have the best coaches. One of the things you look at in combat sports all around is guys like the cross train, bring guys in, things of that nature. Or you get to a point where you'll bring in some big guns to work with you on some things, or will you travel out to do some things? Like how will you go about evolving as you need to it when you get to points in your career? I'm not
Yeah,
telling you like lead your coaches or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying at all.
yeah, no, no, nah. I would probably we got some killers in the Charlotte area in the Rock Hill area. So I don't have to go far for some great boxing and bare knuckle and stuff like that just to get ready for fights. Same thing with MMA. We got some talent. So I know a lot of good guys and a lot of some killers, but it's not about always traveling and leaving, right? It's about finding the right people that can work with you. I'm not trying to beat somebody up for 20 rounds, 3 minutes. That doesn't help me at all. But to really get in there and get good work and know how to work the right way, it always helps. So I see all these guys in here sparring, man, and they trying to kill each other and da da da. Like, that doesn't make you better. To me, it doesn't. I used to train like that. I've been in this game a long time now. I'm smart with my body, so I get in there, I get the work I need, and I get out. So and it shows on fight night. Um, but yeah, man, I don't really go too far. I try to stay in house. I own a boxing gym, so I like to bring guys. If they want to come in and
It's a
get
bit
some work.
easier for you to just bring guys in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if
Like
guys
if,
if guys want to
like
come
if
down
you
and
want to get a
work.
certain look because you're facing somebody and you know this guy is better than somebody you might already have
Yeah.
available. You know.
Yeah, if yeah, I bring guys in if they want to get some work in, but man, I got a killer team. My team's
Now I gotta
nasty.
ask you now, like, isn't it funny how like I guess the MMA landscape has changed where they used to have super gyms and now they almost don't exist anymore?
Yeah, they don't. You don't really hear about. You still got your big one.
Well, no, I
Randy
mean, I guess
Couture
you'll
and stuff
always
like
have
that.
your big gyms because you'll have
Yeah,
a guy or two, but like, I
but you
mean, in
see guys.
reality, like, remember how it was like, like once we hit like 2010, it was like anything that Greg Jackson and Team Mental
Yeah,
John touch was
yeah,
gold.
yeah. True. But like it's these small gyms, man, that nobody know of. That's breathing savages, man.
Yeah, man.
Y'all don't know about it, but Maurice Morris, he's my 185er, 205er pro. About a year and a half, everybody's gonna know about him. He's a killer, man. So we got some guys, D Dex. Um, we got some killers in our gym, man. And I'm breathing 3 little Oxendines, so little girls. So Gabby, Sophia, and Mia. I got a 9, 7, 3-year-old, and they already boxing, kickboxing, doing Muay Thai, Jiu Jitsu, and wrestling. So, um,
Yeah, I had all mine in at one point in time, and they all kind of got to the point where like, yeah, I don't want to. All right, so
my kids love it, man.
enjoy
They
it
breathe
now,
it.
but it's also different. Your daddy's a fighter. That's kind of
Fact.
you get
Yeah.
it. You get a different level of admiration for that.
Yeah, we own it. We own a gym, so like they're in it. That's their life. That's all they know. So, um, like we in there. Like, our life is faith and fitness. You know what I'm saying? So that's all we do. It's always the F. So we grinding, man. So they coming right behind me. So once I lay it down, they're gonna pick it right back up, and the world's gonna keep knowing who Oxendine is.
I have no doubt. Now I want to switch gears to some MMA inside the combat sports world.
Get it?
What are your overall thoughts on what was the final kind of dust settling on everything of that happened with Francis Ngannou? I remember last time we were on, we
Yeah.
were still kind of debating like what was going to happen there. Obviously, everything is kind of laid out. Francis is gone. UFC refused to meet his demands. They were never going to meet his demands.
Nah.
John Jones is now fighting Cyril Gage for the interim title. It's an interesting time, and there's rumors of Deontay Wilder. There's rumors of Fury for Ngannou in the future. Well, first off, let's get to the first one. Were you surprised about what happened with Ngannou in the UFC?
Was I surprised? No, I knew it was going to happen. UFC fumbled the bag. I would say that because
They fumbled the bag again because if you think about it, they lost probably 3 guys in the last latter half of
yeah,
2020. Shane Burgos, Nate Diaz. Regardless if they say they were trying to run him out, is because they didn't want to pay him what he was worth.
Nate makes money. So I would say like this: Francis is the hardest hitting person in the whole world. He brings money. Nate Diaz brings money. These guys just want to be taken care of, and they was trying to help other fighters get taken care of as well. When we do this sport, like, you can't be half in. You got to be all the way in. You have to train every day. You have to kill your body. And Francis wanted the fighters to be taken care of. That was one of his demands. The UFC didn't meet it. They offer him money, but in boxing, you make way more money than MMA. So people offer me MMA fights all the time. I will not go back to MMA because money talks, and you ain't paying me what I make in bare knuckle and I make in boxing. So that's why I left that world. But yeah, he's gonna go. He's gonna fight in boxing. He's gonna make a lot of money, and then he's gonna go to PFL probably or somewhere like that, make a lot of money, and then my man's just gonna be chilling. And John Jones is gonna become champion again, and nobody's gonna ever beat him. And he's gonna ride off in the sunset, and he's just gonna chill.
Listen, I was a Jones stain when he was making that original run. I was a Jones absolute stain when he was making that run. Oh, UFC 127 when or 128 when he beats Shogun, who was just he was on top of the world at that time. That John Jones ain't this John Jones.
But I'm gonna tell you like this: John Jones put on 40 pounds of muscle, and he can move the way he moved at 205. There's nobody touching that man. And it's people going to see it. Like Francis Ngannou took down Kane. Whatever his name. Yeah.
My guess.
He took him down, bro, and he's not even. He don't even have jiu-jitsu. He took him down with a blew out knee and laid on him, and he couldn't do nothing. John Jones is about to murder that man. Okay, John Jones has been at the top since he was 17. Stitch, what's up, man?
What's up? I want to hear the story, man. I love John Jones.
Man, he's a savage.
Oh, yeah, we were just talking about John. Josh thinks John's about to take over the UFC heavyweight division right now.
I'm too old, bro. I don't predict him no more.
I don't see. If Francis Ngannou can take you down and control you on the ground with a blown out knee, what is John Jones going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's
gonna win it, but I don't know if he's gonna be the guy that's gonna run off to the sunset and just walk through heavy. We have to see it first. We got to see it.
Yeah, you got to. He's been at the game a long time. It's different.
Yeah, it's been too long.
That pace. Yeah,
that's my big right there.
He's the GOAT, though.
And when you stay in this game as long as me, you understand that you could beat anything, but you can't beat time. And John Jones has been in this game as one of the young pioneers. So, if anything is strike, that would be the only strike.
Yeah.
Technique-wise, heart-wise, he has that. So it's anybody's game. That's the thing I love about MMA.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Josh, as we get ready to wrap everything up with you, appreciate the time. You know how I typically end this is if you have any sponsors, you got any shout outs to shoot at your social media, let everyone know where to follow you and in your future fights, hopefully. And the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, shout out to Locklear Agency, Gino, my main sponsor. Shout out to Mr. Rick. Mario, who else? I got so many amazing sponsors, but follow me on official_ Preacher Man, and get ready for another baptism coming soon. I don't lose in fighting and boxing. I have not lost in boxing. Don't plan on losing anytime soon. So get ready for another baptism because it's coming very soon.
All right, Josh. Appreciate the time as always. Looking for your next BYB fight, man. Keep doing your thing.
Yes, sir.
As soon as you get an announcement, we'll definitely get you lined back up, having you all here on Combat Deviants or on the Belly Up Sports Network. Have a good evening. Enjoy the Super Bowl weekend. Have fun. Let's go, Birds.
All right, man. Have a good one. Y'all be good.
All right, Josh. Take it easy, my man.
All right, Josh is gone, and now we are here with the Cut Man legend himself. He's literally been at all ports of combat sports. Has been big shows at UFC, big shows on Showtime on boxing, big shows in World Series of Fighting, Bellator. You literally have been to every part of the sport. When I talk about combat sports, I mean,
and as I'll let you know, I just day before yesterday, I just turned down the Jake Paul fight in Saudi Arabia. First I was going to be there the day before with Badu Jack, and but they moved Badu's Jack on the same day as Jake Paul, which would have been great for me. But then Jake Paul, that fight, I had to turn him down because that fight falls on February the 26th, and I'm going to be in Los Angeles for the premiere of the Creed movie.
Oh man, yeah, that got my blood going already, man.
When you turn
that's another reason I want to talk to you. And listen. Could you believe that, how this franchise has taken off since that first movie? It's absolutely amazing. Michael is kind of one of the questions I had. How much of a home run did he hit? Like you've been behind the scenes. I know you can't talk too much about specific things, but you know where it goes and everything. Is it a home run or not, my friend?
Yeah, it's it gives me chills just you asking me that question because I spent 8 weeks with Michael one-on-one, not only, wrapping his hands and talking to him and watching him work, not only as an actor, but as a director. And I've been with a lot of the greats, man, Ryan Coogler, Steve Capo, and I mean, just so many of the great directors that Michael fell right in there pretty simple. Well, there were some rough times and all that, but, he would come to me for a lot of advice on authenticity of what's going on with the game. And but I told him, and he was telling me they're using IMAX. All right. And but the fight scenes were tremendous, man. And the storylines, that's what's going to get you. But I'm so proud of Michael for not only acting and directing in Creed 3, but he's going to be known as a director. And, I don't know if I think I told you in the last time when I was wrapping his hands in Creed 2, it's just him and I in the dressing room. And I'm telling him how proud I am of him and Tessa Thompson and Ryan Coogler, who wrote and directed Creed, and Steve Capo that was directing Creed 2. And he looks at me and says, Stitch, we went from being actors to writers, producers, and directors. And he looks at me like this and says, I'm directing Creed 3 and you're with me as long as you want. And I said, my man. So let me just add to that is, I think we talked about, they're filming a documentary on my life based on the book, From the Fields to the Garden, right? Well, they interviewed Michael. Michael gave us some of his, and we have a lot of great interviews, but for Hollywood, Michael stepped forward and gave me his interviews. And in one of the comments that I saw, he said, Stitch was one of the pillars of Creed. And as long as I'm here, he's here, so I told him, I said, what Mick was to Rocky, Stitch is to Adonis, the new generation. But he did a tremendous job, bro. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the things that everyone was talking about as soon as they announced that the third installment was coming out. Obviously, the first two were great, had a lot of pro boxers involved in it. The second one went a little bit more with the kind of the Rocky storyline going with Drago's son. You have to wonder at some point in time, are we going to see like a spawn of Clubber Lang of some sorts?
And that's what's great about this whole trilogy of all these movies, right? Is that there's so many storylines that you could feed off of.
Play with and connect with things.
And feed into it. Drago. I mean, just the name Drago, that brings worldwide attention. Mm-hmm. And originally, let me tell you this, I was wrapping Michael's hands and he gets a phone call and he has a speakerphone on because he's going through his messages and his hands like this and like this, and wrapping his hands and he gets a call and it's Denzel Washington. I said, oh shit, wow, what are you doing? I'm getting my hands wrapped, this and that. And so they're talking, but Denzel asked him when the movie was coming out. And he says, well, they're looking at November the 26th, I think it was. He goes, traditionally, and I didn't know this, traditionally the Rocky and the Creed movies have come out Thanksgiving weekend. But being that Black Panther, which is a Ryan Coogler, he's directing that one also in Atlanta, being that he is Ryan Coogler, they move Creed 3 to March 3/3/23. And I told Michael, I deal with numbers. I like numbers. numbers for me just make the world go round. That's when you understand numbers, you understand that that's a pattern. And I told Michael that was so brilliant. 3-3-23 for Creed 3. So
I think the other big thing about it is it's right after the football season. It's right before baseball season kicks off. So you have a lot of things to kind of make that interesting. And you already, like you said, you already have Ryan Coogler involved in it. And being that he was already part of Black Panther, you're already getting like another Marvel slate coming out within the next month or so too, because it's just that time of year for the movies, for the early summer hits that come out.
and let me add to that, all right, is Jonathan Majors. When I started wrapping Jonathan's hands, I didn't know who this guy is. And normally when I wrap guys' hands, fighters' hands, I talk to them, communicate with them, relax them, and just kind of get info. Well, Jonathan Majors isn't saying too much to me, right? And I said, nah, that's not how I'm going to handle this situation. So he's ready to leave. I finished wrapping his hands, and he's ready to leave. And I said, no, here we always dap and we always hug. And we did. But then I realized that Jonathan Major was in character when I was wrapping his hands. And it's the first time I've experienced that. When I'm wrapping Michael's hands, we're shooting the shit. And it's
he's
a different
Michael. He's not, he's not Adonis.
Yeah, exactly. Michael's Michael. I've been with him for so long. But Jonathan Majors, right off the bat, when I found out that he was in character, I respected him so much. So I'm talking to him after that, and he's telling me that he signed a 7-movie deal with Marvel. So he's right in the mix with that, right? And he just finished doing that movie of being a bodybuilder, and so he's an upcoming star, that this movie right here is going to really put him on the map. And I was telling Yahya McClain that's was an ex-boxer, was married to Layla Ali, cruiserweight champ, but he's in the movie also. And I said, Jonathan did such a good job that I walked from one side of the ring to the other. I said, Jonathan, you're an asshole. I said, but that's a good thing, because, man, you were perfect in what you did. You made me so mad, And,
yeah, I mean, I not just like people who don't know, Jonathan Majors is going to be the next big Marvel villain.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen some of his stuff, like he does, I seen like it before he did the Loki series. There was I think a Netflix movie where he's some cowboy when he was younger. I mean, it was a really, like, you can just he see that he has that onion you need to be when you're an actor, where you can play different roles and do different things.
Well, and also he's telling me, as we're conversing after that, he graduated from, I think it's Yale or Harvard, one of them. I think it was Yale, but he graduated from Yale.
Smart man.
So yeah, so we picked up a nice relationship with him also.
It's always fun to be in those environments, make those connections, genuine connections with people and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the unique things that you've been able to do over the years is be not only through combat sports, but as you've been getting involved in acting. Here Comes the Boom, Balboa, and now Creed, and you've been able to kind of develop those things. And like you said, you have a documentary about getting ready to be work on you. So we should expect to see that out next year.
Well, actually, by the end of this year. All this started right before the pandemic, because I got contact. Uriah Favor's one of the producers. He's not involved in it. Gerard Roxburgh is producing it. Danny Acosta's directing it. But it's based on the book From the Fields to the Garden, me growing up as a farm worker, making it to Madison Square Garden. So when I get a call from these guys, man, if you want, like I said, this interview, you want to do it, let's do it. I'm that kind of guy, right? So when I signed with them, by the grace of God, a week later, I find out that Triple G is fighting, of all places, at the Garden. So these guys adjust their budget, and the Garden, the Zone, Triple G, they all gave these guys all access. So the footage that we wanted in New York was like prime. And then the COVID kicked in, and they were down for a while. But we got Tyson Fury, Cain Velasquez, we got Javier Mendez, we got Shane Mosley Jr., we got.
Now you just mentioned Cain. Have you talked to Cain?
I haven't talked to him since he got back, but from what I understand in the interview that he did was very powerful, speaking on my behalf. And so now, and they asked, well, should we put Kane in? I said, yeah, of course.
Of course he's going to be in there.
Yeah, of course he's going to be.
If anyone has a problem with anything he did, please come see me first, please.
Come on, man. He's a man and he's a friend. And
exactly. No one should be making him feel any type of way.
No.
He did a great thing that any one of us would have done in the opposite situation.
Yeah.
Most of us would have did worse than what Kane did, probably.
Yeah, of course. You were mentioning real quick that all the opportunities that I've been really privileged with, right? But someone like Jonathan Majors, right? So he's right in the cusp of being like a superstar.
Yeah, he is. He's
by the time
we talk about, how what happened to Kevin Hart over the last 10 years. Jonathan's getting ready to make a jump like that.
Yeah, but my point to you on that is me being this young, humble farm worker that grew up as a farm worker. Now, before we finished filming, he has his assistant come because I wrapped his hands. I cut him off and all that. I signed them for him, so he wanted my autograph, So, to me.
You cut him right off, put him right away.
Yeah, there's special moments. It's, like Fedor, when Fedor retired, right? I wish I could have worked that last one, but he gave me sweats that had my name on them, and those were created in Russia. So those are the moments that make my job.
Those are the little things, and you're talking about things that are special to you. It's funny because I'm getting ready to launch like a card grading hobby show with Belly Up Sports in this card grading company.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to work on things like that. It's really interesting. You're talking about things like that. Those are some great things that may not be the greatest thing to everyone, but people who are hobbyists, collectors, you getting the wraps from that. Fedor having a special suit, those are unique things. Do you have we were already talking about talking some stories. What are some of the unique things that you've been able to kind of collect, the things that are special to you, things like that over the years?
Oh man, give me a second. Hold on.
Oh boy, here we go. I done got Stitch started. Well, folks, Stitch is done taking a walk off. He's gonna look for some of his own special memories, memorabilia that he has. So we're gonna have some fun with Stitch Duran here in a second. So guys, bear with us. He'll be back in a moment.
Anyway, yeah, there's and that's the thing about it. There's so many great things. Look, Native Americans give me some beads or some of these made out of this. They put them around my neck, and Hawaiian fighter gave me his beads, and look at that. Get these, but let me show you these. So these are all the cast members for the first Creed. They all signed it. But
there you
go. That ain't nothing, bro. So this is Brock Lesnar's glove that ripped 4X when I was putting.
Oh, I remember that one. That's the one you had to cut, right?
Yeah. But I got Lyoto Machida. I have his just so many things, man, and to me they're priceless, because they taught me.
I think the coolest thing I ever got like that was Mike Richmond sent me a pair of his Bellator gloves that he did one of the tournament. So I had all the blood all over it and everything. I mean, I've got some cool things. You talk about that. I got a card on my wall that has Brock's hand wraps and Frank Mir's beanie on it.
Yeah, that's great. And you were talking about your new business and all that, and I think that's so awesome. There's so many things out there that have stories that are simple items. And there's a story, and the story is what
I say with everything. Whenever I'm doing it, regardless, I'm talking to you about this or I'm talking to fighters. We all have stories to tell from our life experiences, from what our opinions, our thoughts on whatever topics we're going over, whatever topics that are just prevalent in daily life right now. So I always say we're all like onions. We just need to have the layers peeled back and given the opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah, I know. What a life, huh?
Yeah, right. You're living one right now, right, man? Like obviously, like we've been talking about. You've been in some of these bigger situations, and look how everything's changed over. Obviously you you were let go from the UFC and giving you these. It's actually giving you this opportunity to be. Either you're in a better place now than you were when then, and here we are, 10 years later, and they're still making the same mistakes. They're still making the same mistakes.
It's funny you bring this up because I work with one of the UFC cutmen. Hadn't seen him in a long time, but he said, man, people are still asking about you. They're still talking about you. But that's all over the world. All over the world, and people are complimenting me for being the one to speak up. And when
Francis is the next one.
What's that?
Now Francis is one of taking it to the next level.
And see, the thing about it is 100% because Dewey Cooper, I know Dewey's I worked his fights and I've worked. So I want to meet Francis and see how somehow we could join forces and just kind of go forward and try to change this game. My daughter, Carla, Rose Gracie, and Eric, can't pronounce his last name. They just convinced the ABC, the Association of Boxing Commission, to have 7 retired fighters on their panels for making decisions. Bro, these are people that have never been.
That's big. We need that. We need that seriously.
Generation people. My daughter, I think it's Hensel Gracie's daughter, Rose, and these other guys. They convinced the ABC that it was only fair to have 7 retired fighters on their panels when they make decisions for the Association of Boxing Commissions throughout the United States. To me, that's powerful.
It should be only fighters. If you ask me,
if
you're making decisions about fighters, former fighters and or champions or whatever need to be involved in those decisions because they know they've been in there.
It's never been done. It's never been done. And also, they have incorporated into, I think, Nevada, California, I think New York. There's a native tribe in Minnesota where now when you apply for your license, you have to take a basic test on CTE. See, CTE is a big thing right now. And it's not a flunk thing because it's a yes or no, but it educates you. Does sparring create CTE? True or yes or no? Well, yes, it does. Little simple things like that will put them in your mind and educate you. So they've made those moves, and they're second generation combat sports people. Proud of her.
We need that, in our athletic commissions, in the ring, at the scorer's table, at all of that. I think we need to get the bureaucratic people out of our athletic commissions and people who are actually involved in the sport to be in those chairs.
Yeah, I did a show in Phoenix, Arizona, Friday, and these young inspectors are questioning us on wrapping hands and this and that. So I put the question back on them, and they don't have an answer. And I embarrassed them. I said, it's
people. Speaking of embarrassing commissions, I got to ask you about this because you were probably around. Do you remember Tommy Morrison, right?
Yes.
Now, have you seen what's been going on over the last 5 years with his widow, Trisha, and fighting the Nevada Athletic Commission? Because apparently Tommy never had AIDS.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Apparently she's trying to get all the evidence. There was the ringside meeting with Mark Radner. Well, Mark Radner's given testimony saying there's never been a ringside meeting. There's just all these irregularities leading up to the fact that Tommy never had it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. And actually, I've never heard of it. But let me say this. I worked with Johnny Tapia at the tail end of his career. Johnny fought in Albuquerque, and after the fight, the guy says, "Hey man, did you guys see Tommy? Yeah, who? Tommy Morrison." I said, "Where was he at?" He goes, "He was in the dressing room. He was in he had a cap. I didn't recognize him, bro. He was so thin. He had all."
He didn't. No, he did. When he got to the end, he was looking bad. He was going through some rough stuff.
I didn't recognize him. And, and I know Tony Holden that promoted him. I worked his son's, one of his son's fights, so yeah, but I didn't recognize Tommy. And of course I was a big fan of his.
Yeah, well, apparently Trish is trying to right some wrongs. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, surprisingly enough, I haven't heard, but I'm gonna follow up on that. Now that you bring that,
she's on social media. She's on Twitter. She's on Facebook. Trisha Tommy Morrison. If you go in there, she'll pop right up. Yeah, she's got a lot of stuff on. I had her on here. I was blown away. That 30 for 30 is nothing but garbage. I'm just like, whoa, holy crap!
Really? Yeah.
It was. She blew me away with all the stuff. I was like, wow. I'm just surprised that more, Ariel Helwani's, Joe Rogan's, people of that nature hasn't had a conversation with her. Joe was a big fan of Tommy, so I'm like, why haven't we need to get you connected with Joe? Like, that needs to happen.
Yeah, that won't happen. They won't interview me either. I
remember. Once he signed that big deal with Spotify, he has a list of names.
Yeah. Ariel Helwani, when the UFC let me go, was the first one to call me and wanted to do an interview. Of course, I said yes. A day later, he canceled out because he was so tied in with the UFC at that time. And
I'm surprised with Creed coming out, he hasn't reached back out to you.
I wouldn't do an interview with him. You burned
done with him now. See, I don't blame you there because I felt everyone says he's the best, and he isn't the best. But when it mattered the most, when it meant to be a journalist, he didn't have a backbone.
Yeah, that's it exactly. You showed me your colors, and it's not like I need interviews. Joe Rogan, I saw him when Canelo fought Triple G the last time. I'm in the back getting ready to go out, and him and Shaq O'Neal come in together with, and they come in and, hey, Joe, what's up? This and that. I say, hey, man, when are you going to get me on your show? And he keeps on walking.
Yeah, because he probably hears that question like every time he goes out.
Yeah. David, he was with David Chappelle. And
him and Dave are people don't even realize how close he is with Dave.
Yeah.
He's so close with the comedic community. It's more than what it is in the combat sports because that's where he came from. People always forget that. Yeah. Joe was a comedian first. He was an actor first. The whole UFC combat sports thing that just happened on accident.
Yeah. No, I went to his shows, and I think we did a show in Austin, UFC show, and Eddie Bravo getting stoned with Eddie Bravo, where he was talking to me, and all I could see with this. But Joe Rogan did a comedy show, and so you're right, and yeah.
I mean, that's what he always used to do. Whenever he would go and do the travel dates with the UFC, he would coincide touring his comedy. Whatever. I remember catching him at the Helium Club before UFC 100. He always had a fun set. Him and Goofy Ari Shafir. He's one of the unique ones, man. Mr. Rogan.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, I hopefully he gets to the point where he can walk away. I think they're getting to the point they have enough personalities where they don't really need him anymore.
Yeah, and he don't need them either. Yeah, that's a good thing about
it. They've changed so much over the past 10 years. It's they've almost got it to the point where people only want to tune in for when the handful of fighters fight and everyone else. It's like the UFC stopped doing things about building the guys, all the guys or girls up the same way. It's just like they hand pick a handful of them they want to promote, and then the rest of them, if you make it, you make it. You don't, you don't.
Yeah, it's funny. Fernando Vargas, I did interview him years back. I did a documentary, and he says, they keep feeding you the green pastures as long as you keep on winning, but they turned corporate. When I was with them, everybody had names, and we were a family. We worked together, and now I don't know the fighters, I don't know people, and it just it's not the same. What do you think of that?
I mean, it changed a lot for me. And it's crazy because there's more Philly UFC fighters in the UFC now than there was 10 years ago. You got Brady, you got Wells, you got Joey Pfeiffer, you got Andre Petrosky, you got all these guys, Back then, it was just what Eddie Alvarez at one point, and then I think Eddie and Paul at one point, and then that was it. Now, like I mean, I can't follow it the way I used to. I don't know if it's just the way that I know the business runs, the way they go about it. Like from how they chart, like just everything changed to the point where the fans, the original UFC fans, these even the zoo, whatever you call them, the Zuffa zombies, and those guys, and before it all changed. So I'm with you where it's harder to follow, it's harder to kind of identify with the upcoming stars, the champions, etc., because it's not done the same way.
Yeah, Dan Hardy, when the UFC let me go, he said in a quote, that was the end of a golden era. And, you look at Tito Ortiz, you throw BJ Penn, I mean, you just throw so many names out there, and they were all superstars. And now, like those guys that you mentioned, brother, I'm ashamed to say I don't know them. I just don't follow the sport, and I have no interest at all. But it just, from what I understand, the game has changed tremendously, and
well, no, I mean, we've seen that with what Francis just did. We just seen that with what transpired with Nate, at the end of the year, and even more so when they lost. Shane Burgos to PFL, and Dana's like, "Oh, we dropped the ball." I'm like, "What do you mean you dropped the ball? He's one of your best upcoming guys in that weight class, and you just dropped the ball? Like, how does that happen?"
Yeah,
like when you hear things like that, and then how the media went about explaining the Francis Ngannou situation, it was just like, I've read this script before. Where did I remember reading this before? He's scared. He doesn't want. Where do I remember reading this before? I mean, it's the same rhetoric. So, like, when you know everything that's going on, it's like, do you want to cheer for guys? Yeah, I'll always cheer for certain specific guys or whatever. But like anyone that you have, you find a relatable thing to it, how they fight, etc. But it's not like how it was, where what you talk about, that golden age, where literally, like, win or lose, it was almost half the time you were pulling your hair out because you loved both guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's at a point where it's like, I think I know 3 guys on the whole 12 fight card.
Yeah.
That's where I'm saying, like, where they have lost touch with everything. It's not the same, and it's not anything. I will always be 1,000% pro fighter. I will always argue for pro fighter benefits. I will always be pro athlete. I'll sit there and have a fighter be mad at me on this program, will never want to talk to me again because they don't need to be in a ring or cage anymore, and I'll be the one to tell them that. I will always be pro athlete to that point. So it's like one of these things where it's rough to see the change in the UFC, but at the same time, it's a good thing for combat sports in general, because now you don't have guys that are pigeonholed into there. You have a situation where if Francis does really well, it can change a whole era of what's going to happen with superstars, either in the UFC or just in combat sports in general. Maybe you get to a point where you don't tie yourself down in that promotion. Maybe you do go there and fight in the UFC for 3 years, but you don't go sign something long term, and you go and walk when your time is done.
Let me kind of go. There's like 23 years ago, before the UFC, I put a documentary together called Boxer's Nightmare. It's on YouTube, Boxer's Nightmare. But, I hadn't seen it in like 20 years. We did it in a little, but as I look at it now, everyone that I interviewed were all Hall of Famers. Mike Tyson, a week before he got his tattoo. Mark Ratner, when he was with a commission. Mills Lane. Anyway, I'm looking at this film because the young man that helped me direct it passed away. And I saw, and I looked at the film, and I said, damn, everything that's happening now, we talked about it then with these legends, and we had solutions for them then, but nothing has ever changed based on what's going on right now. So you go to YouTube and look at Boxer's Nightmare. It's like an hour and 8 minutes. But everything that we brought up are all issues that are still happening now. So your point with Francis Ngannou, is he going to change anything? No, not based on this documentary that I had already put out that, HBO, Showtime, they didn't want to see it because it would affect the game. talked about contract. We talked about weight cut. We talked about dementia pugilistica. We talked about finances. Talked about everything, training. Mike Tyson, you got to take the pain. He's quoting Nietzsche. So yeah, go to YouTube, check that out. But let me tell you what's fair in this game is fair practices. And for Francis Ngannou to have a chance to fight Tyson Fury, because all these YouTube fights are going, that's what's big right now. And for him to get $30-40 million, I would have been ashamed of myself to say, no, you can't do it because I'm going to pay you $1 million to defend your title. That's just not right.
He was going to pay him what, $8 million to fight John Jones? That's what was reported. $8 million.
I don't know.
Well, I believe that's what was reported. That was for the John Jones fight. It was $8 million, regardless.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, like I just had Josh on. He's like, I'm not going back to MMA.
Yeah.
He's like, why? What I could do bare knuckle boxing and or boxing and get paid twice as much just to show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would I do that?
And that's is that, there has to be an association. It has to be somebody to look after these fighters, to have a council or something, like these 7 fighters, retired fighters. What would you do? Well, let me direct you to this guy or do this, or make sure you pay your taxes. And, we all have to be educated in this sport, because the ones that are making decisions are, they're corporate people, and that's what they do.
They run these athletes down. I remember, what was it? Rampage freaking out after one of the pay-per-views after getting his check cut. He's like, what is this? What is this? And that was demanding to see the pay-per-view numbers. It was just, it's one of these things where, like, these guys are invested. They put everything into it, and they don't feel like they're getting their fair shake. I don't think they will for some time, maybe ever.
Exactly. And Rampage was getting screwed by his manager. So
he was getting on both ends.
Yeah, he's getting on both ends. And that's, unfortunately, that's a pattern that's been continuing time after time after time. And like,
it's been repeating through time.
Well,
through boxing, through MMA, all of it.
Yeah, you go back and you look at this documentary 23 years ago, and to realize that everything now, that was boxing only. Now you include MMA, now you can include bare knuckle fights. All combat sports are relevant to the points that were being brought up there, and they answer for everything. But you're talking about bare knuckle fights with Josh. I've worked with Dave Feldman on his bare knuckle fights until COVID. God, he did a great job. Takes care of these guys the way it should be.
Yeah, I know. And it sucks. Like, I hate the inner fighting between both BYB and BKFC. Even the media members that come around, like, they're playing this whole, like, oh, well, I had this one guy was like, oh, BYB had 89 guys in the arena. I'm like, how do you know? Are you watching it? Like, you're like, the guy's like literally has Dave's, what up his butt all the time, because he's always following those fighters, and which I absolutely do not blame you, Dave. I remember when he was here in Philadelphia, when he lost XFE to Rob Haydock and CFFC. Him and his son were stuck there for 2-3 years because of the contract before he could even do BKFC. That was just walking around the arenas.
Yeah.
And to see what he's done from there to now, down there in Miami, both working his tail off to get, bare knuckle, sanctioned throughout the states, overseas, things of that nature. They're doing great things to make bare knuckle boxing a global thing, and to give, I think, athletes another avenue to do things.
Yeah.
You're seeing a lot of the former Bellator or former PFL or former UFC guys coming over and having big fights and big success. You just had big Vern Rothwell come over. You just had Mike Perry come over and fight the Bellator guy in MVP. It was nuts. Like, it's one of these things. Like, Dave is putting on big fights, and you already tell me he's treating them great. that's one of the things you need from your promoter. You don't need these guys that are ego driven and worry about filling their pockets and things. Worry about taking care of the fighters. Worry about making your profits with your promotions after you take care of your fighters.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Alan Belcher called me to work with him on his coming fight. But
I just had Alan on. I love him, dude.
Yeah,
love him.
But
I'm actually, remember I was telling you about that show. I'm actually sending him a bunch of his UFC cards. We're gonna have him signed, graded. We're gonna have him back on after the fight. Like, he's an awesome guy. He's one of the guys from that era. Absolutely love him in the cage, outside of it. Awesome dude. You know, I could go down the bar and have a beer with him. He's like one of your brothers. You know what I mean? Like, one of the best guys that are involved in combat sports.
Yeah, and it's awesome, you know, for him to think about me. And his name hasn't popped up into my mind in years. But for him to have thought about me during these moments with him. But I agree. I think, you know, bare knuckle fight, I like it, and I wish I could continue it. But you know, when the COVID kicked in and all that,
changed everything.
And you know, I'm working with Top Rank now as one of their official cutmen. And but Dave is all
they keep you so busy you can't come see us from time to time.
Yeah, the weekends are booked, you know, and
oh man,
I'm not complaining, you know, but
yeah, I mean, I can't say I would.
Yeah, exactly. So
the checks are coming in, you know, you don't argue with them.
No, exactly. Well, it's not, you know, I did an interview. It's really never about the money. It's about accomplishments that I'm doing them. Alan Boucher calling me. That's, you know, it's a little thing, but it's a big thing, right? Because I haven't talked to him in years. And for him to say, I'm going into battle, who do I want to cover my back? Well, let me call Stich. You know, to me, those are the special moments, bro.
And speaking of which, he's fighting next weekend. You think he's gonna get that title?
You know what? I don't pick him, bro. You know, I like him.
I know it's a tough one. Him and Arnold Adams. I was talking with Caleb with Harris earlier, and he basically said it like this: if it goes to a decision, I'm going Adams. If it gets stopped, Allen's getting them.
Hey man, armchair quarterback's only 50% right.
You know? Oh, I know. You know,
yeah.
But if you think about it, that's what most of sports media is about anymore, isn't it? That's why a lot of these companies bring in the former athletes so they can have their experts on there with the other panel heads.
Yeah, well, you know, you've done enough fights like me, and you realize that all it takes is one shot, one angle, and timing, and it changes the whole course of life. I've seen it many times.
You look at it, I think combat sports and football is the games you say that matter in inches and seconds.
Yeah.
And it's so prevalent. I mean, it's, you know, obviously Super Bowls in 2 days. Everyone's going crazy about that. Obviously, that's why my voice is hoarse. I'm so nuts about it. We're getting ready for everything here in Philadelphia. Before we get ready to close it up, a few more. Speaking of Philadelphia, Creed ever coming back here or what? Are we going to get him back from one of the next movies?
Man, you know,
maybe you can put some words in so we can know what's going on.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think Rocky's going to be in this fourth one, and they are working on the fourth one. And so I hope so. I love Philadelphia. The people there were awesome. And speaking about the Eagles, let me throw one story out that I've said many, 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 many times before, and it just kind of influenced the way I should treat people. Randall Cunningham, all right?
Love that dude.
Yeah, well, you know, before I've been in Vegas 28 years old. My name was Jacob at that time. I had a school of kickboxing, and Dennis Alexio fought here, and he was there, and he was already a big star. Well, after the fights, we're all together at after fight party, and me and my three brothers are talking to Randall Cunningham, and this one guy comes up, hey, so and so wants to meet you. He stops and looks at him, says, hold on, let me finish talking to these guys. Bro, I never felt so important in my life, so respected in my life. And he's a pastor here in Las Vegas.
Yep.
I've told that story many, many times that this is the way I want to treat people. That's why I never turn down pictures and highs and try to be cordial to everybody, because he just says, he reinforced that this is the way we should treat people. And when I do see him, and I know I will, I pass his church, I should stop by and just let him know, listen, man, boom, I want to shake your hand.
Yeah, Randall's a genuine dude like that, you know, even to the point where we're starting to see his daughters are now track and field stars down there at Las Vegas University. So, you know, the genes run strong in Randall. So, you know, you always gotta give Randall love. I think it's funny. We talk about that. We were talking about the Eagles Super Bowl. It's funny they all had to sit down at the beginning of the year. Jalen Hurts, Donovan, Michael Vick, all them guys. They said, hey, they're talking to Jalen. They wish they can go back and start it all over again.
Yeah.
Just because of the way Jalen's mentality, how he talks, how he presents himself, how his teammates talk about him, things of that nature. The mentality is so special when it comes to high level sports. It's mentality kind of outwills talent most of the time.
And it blows my mind, you know, to see these guys but to understand deep inside, they're all babies, right? And all sports. And my job is to take care of the baby. They know that, and I know that.
Well, Stitch, it is always a pleasure catching up with you. You know, getting some stories out of you. Definitely appreciated you showing us the memorabilia. The Brock Lesnar glove was awesome. I was always a big Brock fan. I guess next time I'll be a little bit more prepared. I'll get some of my stuff out. So you see, I got like a Vinny Paz glove over here. I got some cool stuff I got to break out next time.
I'll bring out my stuff, man.
Well, yeah, well, I'll get you come back on when I launch the card hobby show. Maybe I'll send you a few cards. We'll get you come back on, get them graded, talk some hobby stuff.
All right, all the best to you. Thanks for having me on.
Always the best, Stitch. Appreciate the time.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait for the premiere, my friend.
It's gonna be fun, man.
Always appreciate it. Definitely looking forward to having you back on. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for the time, my friend.
Thank you, boss. Bye.
All right, everyone. That was Roberto Stitch Duran. That was a fun one. You know, he's always brings a unique perspective, you know, to our interviews, to our shows. Obviously, you know, being involved with Creed, gave us some unique perspective on some of the stuff with that. And it's going to be fun when that premieres. Make sure you're checking out Creed 3. I'm going to look forward to it. You got Jonathan Majors in it. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one, guys. But this was a fun one. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Appreciate Josh and Stitch for their time. Make sure you guys are locked in. We got a bunch of stuff going on this weekend, so make sure you're subscribed and go Birds. We got a couple shows going on. We're going to have, I believe, a pregame show, and there will be a live reaction show. So, again, tune in here, subscribe, like, and we will see you guys next week. All right.